What's going on, y'all? Today we will be doing a full trading masterclass with you guys, with the hopes that I can give you a ton of value, with the hopes to actually help you comprehend the market itself. We had a little bit of tech issues, so if you guys are watching the replay on this right now, feel free to just kind of skip around inside of this video as we get everybody in, since this is going to be a live stream. So just go ahead and skip forward. We'll get to the information and everything should work. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and send this out to everyone on Twitter, since those are the people who are definitely looking forward to this. So give me 1 second. Let's go ahead and go here. Bam, bam. Okay, perfect. You use FEGs. Yes, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that on the charts as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we'll probably start off with something like a QQQ as we break everything down. Let's go ahead and pull this up over here like this. Okay, cool. Let's make sure we also have TikTok chat over here. If you guys can hear me on TikTok, go ahead and drop a yes down below. If you guys can hear me on TikTok, drop a yes down below. Let's go ahead and join this real quick here like this. All right, perfect. Perfect. Let's see here. All right, cool. All right, perfect. Okay, cool. Does the strat work for futures as well? Yes, it does. We're gonna break down everything right now. Shout out to everybody that's in the YouTube. Shout out to everybody that's on TikTok. Bro, video quality is pretty dope. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. It took a minute to get everything up and running. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and zoom out a little bit as well. And we're gonna start breaking everything down for you guys. I'm gonna show you guys the different time frames, but answer majority of the questions you guys have, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and make a quick post for Instagram that we live. Okay, cool. So in today's live, the big focus is to help you guys comprehend the market as a whole, using the Strat and smart money concepts, which is what I trade as of right now, and what I teach my group. So obviously you guys will learn and see some proof as well, because one of the biggest and most important things is that you guys have proof when you guys are learning anything. So let's just make sure this is good. Okay, good. All right, we all good to go. Just now tuning in, yo, appreciate that. What's good, DJ? What's up? Okay, cool. All right, perfect, y'all. So let's jump into it. So one of the biggest things that, if you're watching this right now, one of the biggest things is you probably are trading the Strat or supply and demand, or some forms and concepts of ICT, or I don't know. Actually, just drop what style of trading that you guys trade. What strategy do you trade right now? Go ahead and drop it down below in the chat. Now, one of the things that I've learned over a period of time, because I got in the market in 2021, that's when I started long-term investing and things like that from building my companies, right? And one of the things I learned is, like, I started off with support and resistance, then I tried trend lines, and then I went on to, you know, testing out orbs and supply and demand, all these different things, right? I tried out pretty much everything you could possibly think of. And pretty much what I realized is that I still had no real understanding of what the market was doing, right? Like, I think that's one of the biggest issues I think a lot of people have, is that they don't understand or comprehend price action. So my goal in today's live is to teach this in a way where you fully understand what the market is doing and how the strat works, along with smart money concepts, because I think a lot of people don't use it as often. So with that being said, this is going to be an informative live for you guys. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and just ask questions as we go. All right, feel free to drop questions down below in the chat. I have all chats open right now so I can see everything. But yeah, let's just make this informative, and let's deliver some value. So the very first thing I want you to understand is that all strategies do work, okay? at the end of the day, what matters most is that you comprehend what you are trading. I am not here to make it seem like I have, I trade the best strategy in the world or any of that. I honestly, I don't care, right? Like, I just want to make sure that people who are locking in with me can see how to trade properly, okay? So with that being said, I want to kind of break down first the strat. So I recently posted a video on YouTube and on Twitter where I was able to, upload an entire 33-minute video of how the strat works, basically what the candlesticks mean, what indicators to use for it, and all that stuff. I'll be re-breaking it down today, along with adding in SMC, which is smart money concepts. We'll break down what that is as well and answer some questions as we are teaching, and then give live examples of where to get in, where to get out, where do you execute, what about stop losses, things like that. All right, just finished your course. Yo, appreciate you, Ralph. Let me know how you liked it, bro. All right, cool. So let's jump into TradingView. So right now we are on TradingView. For those of you guys who are new traders, this is TradingView. This is where you want to go to chart out stocks, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with something. We're going to start off with QQQ, and I'm going to remove all of this. And what we're going to do is we are going to turn off, SADI ATR. Actually, we'll keep VWAP on there. We'll turn off ATR levels. We'll turn off, we can keep the volume indicator. We'll also turn off, we'll keep the 50%er, and we will keep Lux Algo because we're going to teach smart money concepts as well. All right. Yo, what's up, Tar? Hope all is well. Cool. So with that being said, let's start breaking down the strat first. Okay. So the strat is a way of reading the chart that will allow you to comprehend price action, right? So one of the most important things that a lot of people that I've noticed are having trouble with is understanding price action. And what exactly is price action is literally exactly what it is, right? What is price doing, right? So the very first thing you want to look at when you're looking at my chart is you're like, yo, what are all these numbers, bro? Like, why is your chart, why is your candlesticks different numbers? Why is there different colors, and why are there borders around it? I promise I'm going to explain everything. It's just a way of reading the market. The same way you trade support and resistance and you understand different levels, I use the same exact things, okay? Someone asked what the blue dot is. These are VWAP, right? This is the VWAP indicator, which is volume weighted average price. I'll break that down as well. So make sure you guys just stay tuned, hit the follow button, and just keep watching. All right. So first off, let's explain the strat. Okay. So I'm going to turn off SMC for right now. And we're going to start off with the strat because I think it's a foundational thing that everyone needs to understand if you're going to learn the strat. So let's actually start off with a candlestick. Okay. So we're going to turn the strat assistant off, and I'll break down the indicator and everything as well as you guys are watching. Okay. So let's start off with the basics of a chart. Okay. So when you're reading a chart, obviously it's price action. It is what a stock or asset is doing in a particular time frame. All right. So one of the things that you want to understand is obviously we have a bearish candlestick, okay, which is selling, right? So this is where the bears are, buying puts if you guys are options. So majority of this is going to be options. I'm going to give you a heads up, right? But you have a bearish candlestick, which is going to be red, and you have a green candlestick or a bullish candlestick, which is going to be green. Now, for those of you guys who are already understanding of trading and candlesticks and things like that, I'm just running through this really quick so they understand the strat and so you understand it as well as I teach it. So the very first thing you need to understand about a candlestick is that on a bullish candlestick, right, this is the body and these are the wicks. So the top and the bottom part up here, this is the wick, and this is a wick. This is the highest point this candle went. This is the lowest point that this candle has went, right? So we understand that. On a bullish candlestick, we know that the body opens at the bottom, right? So we open here, price opened at 575.21. It went as low as 575.11. It went as high as 576.21, and then it closed at 576.15. Okay, so with this being said, right, I want you guys to understand that this is how a candlestick works. When I explain the strat, you'll understand the close and open and why the strat colors and candlesticks are the way they are. Okay, I promise. On a bearish candlestick, which is right here, these wicks are the same. This is the highest and this is the lowest point that prices went. But the candle opens at the top and closes at the bottom. So it closed lower than where it opened at. Do we all understand that? Comment yes down below so I can go ahead and zoom past that. Because at the end of the day, if you don't understand that part, you're understanding the strat is going to be like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? So drop a yes in the chat if that makes sense. It's pretty much foundational information too, okay? A little bit, I promise you, it's gonna make more sense. If you don't understand candlesticks, you definitely want to go watch a video on it. Okay. Okay. Cool. So when we're talking about the strat, then we're going to turn on the Strat Assistant. So one of the things that you definitely want to have on is the indicator called Strat Assistant. It's by Ricky Z. Carroll. So you can look up Strat Assistant. Now, if you guys are on YouTube or, TikTok and things like that, you probably can't see this, but this is the guy's name, Ricky Z. Carroll. And you just look up Strat Assistant, not the Strat Assistant, just Strat Assistant. What's going on, Lala? What's going on? Hope all is well. How you liking the new penthouse? I love it. I love it. I'll give you guys a penthouse tour later. But for right now, I just want to teach. All right. So let's start off with these colors and why the colors are like this and things like that. So the reason that my candlesticks are a different color is to represent certain things that a candlestick has done. Each one of these candlesticks, I know you guys are seeing the numbers, each one of these means something. Each candlestick means something different. It's telling a different story. And at the end of the day, regardless of what type of trading style you have, if you understand, these different colors, what's up, mom? My Dukes is in here. Shout out to Dukes. If you understand these candlesticks and you understand these colors, it'll be easier for you to just understand what has happened. Okay. So we're going to zoom in and we're going to start off with this candle here. Okay. So the first way I want to teach this, right, is the strat is basically, there's only three things that price can do. Right? We all know this. We know about market structure. If you don't know what market structure is basically the market is moving in a certain direction, right? So the market can only move in three directions. It can either go up, it can go sideways, or it can go down. If you are reading a chart, no matter what you're trading, whether it's gold, whether it's futures, whether it's Forex, whether it's options, it doesn't matter what you're trading. Every asset, when you look at a chart, goes in those three directions, and that is it. When you're looking at market structure though, and you look at a chart, it's basically showing you what the trend is. So are you making higher highs and higher lows? That is called an uptrend. Are you making lower highs and lower lows? This is called a downtrend. Or are you making equal highs and equal lows? This is called consolidation. So why am I bringing this up though? When you guys are learning the strat, market structure is important. We use the same concepts. I know people look at this and they be like, oh no, this looks so difficult and things like that. This is why you're here right now. So just keep watching. Okay. So we understand market structure, but these candlesticks work the same exact way when you think about it. A candlestick is either going to break above the previous candle. It's going to either break above, below, or it's going to stay inside, which is consolidate. So let's now explain what all of this means. So first off, this yellow candlestick, oh, this one is interesting, okay? So I want to teach this like this, okay? What is your name? I want y'all to drop your name down below, and I want you to drop your nickname. So my name is Dantes, and my nickname is Tez. I want you to drop your name and your nickname. What are your friends, your family, your cousins, your best friend, your boyfriend? What do they call you, right? Go ahead and drop your name, and then I want you to drop your nickname as well. Now, the reason this is important is because the way I'm about to teach this to you is going to make it stick a little bit easier for you. All right. So we got Mimi, we got Teray, Slick Rick. Okay. Slick Rick. That's what's up. Right. Kyla, Kiana. Okay, cool. So with this being said, this candlestick right here. Okay. Keisha, they call you K. Okay. Okay. So this candlestick right here, its name is an inside bar, right? The name is an inside bar. However, right, its nickname is a 1 bar. Okay, so that's how you're going to be able to read this. You have a name and you have a nickname. And the reason this is important is because when you guys are trading this, whether you're in my community or another community, or you're in someone else's stream and they trade the strat, right? If they say a 1 bar, right, and you don't know what that is, you know what an inside bar is, but you don't know what a 1 bar is. So this is why they have nicknames, and this is why it's important. So that way, when you hear the terminology, you understand what it means. So why is this called a inside bar? Well, it's inside because if I mark off the high and the low of the previous candle, it is inside of this previous candle, right? So this wick up here and this wick down here, right? It hasn't broken above or below. So this is consolidation, right? There's no one in control at this specific time frame. Does that make sense? So the way you read the strat, and I'm going to slow down a little bit just so I can make sure I'm getting everything out, right? The way you're reading the strat is always based off of the previous candlestick. Right? It is always based off the previous candlestick. So you read this candle based off this candle, right? You're reading this candle based off of this candle. You read this candle based off of this candle. And the reason this is so important is because you're doing the same exact thing when you are trading, right? When you're looking at the market right? Whether you trade supply and demand, support and resistance, ICT, SMC, it doesn't matter what you trade. Everything you're doing is you're looking at price and what price has done. We all know that price has memory, right? And if you didn't know that, then here you go. Price has memory, right? So basically, price will a lot of times revisit the same level, which is why there's things called key levels, where, you know, Monday's highs and lows. Throughout the week, price on a Wednesday might revisit and bounce off of Monday's lows. Or we might break above Monday's highs, which is a sign of a lot of bullish intent. A lot of bulls are stepping in, right? So we understand key levels, but the key thing you need to understand about the strat is that you're reading these based off of the recent candle. So watch how we read this together, okay? Just watch for right now. So this inside bar, or one bar, is inside because it has not broken the previous candle's high or low. So notice how this high is right here, and this low is right here. So it's inside of this previous candle. This is again called consolidation as well, right? This is what it is. An inside bar is consolidation, okay? Now, if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button or hit the follow, go ahead and do that right now. If you guys are on TikTok, we at 1,200 likes. Give me the 10K likes, and I'll give away something. I don't know yet, but I'll give away something. I'll figure it out. All right, I'll probably give away a free month in my Discord community or something like that. All right, cool. So now we know what a one bar is. Comment yes down below if you guys understand what a one bar is. An inside bar. It is consolidation. It's when you haven't broken above or below the previous candlestick. Okay, good. Yo, it's crazy. We just gained like 40 followers on TikTok. It's crazy. Okay, cool. So we understand what that is. Drop a yes in the chat. So, all right, cool. So we know what a one is. So when you see a one bar, right? The cool thing is this works across all time frames. So whether you trade the 4-hour time frame, the daily, the weekly, like a lot of people, and I'll show you guys how to like dodge like consolidation, getting stuck in choppiness, right? How many of y'all have taken a trade and it's just moving sideways? And you know, in options, right, a contract can lose its value, right? It can get cooked over a period of time if it's not moving in your direction. So I'll show you guys how to dodge that as well, how to read the different time frames, how to set up trades. We're gonna go through everything. I promise. I'm giving everything away for you for free. You don't have to opt in. You don't got to put an email in or any of that BS. You just sit back, watch, and yeah, I'll teach everything you need. Okay. Cool. All right, cool. So now let's move to a 3-bar, okay? Let's move to a 3-bar. I love the strat. That's lit. The strat is it. I'm not gonna lie. I tried supply and demand. I tried support and resistance a few years back, trend lines. It just wasn't clicking. The strat, and the way I'm about to teach this to you, it's going to click, okay? And if it doesn't, I will sit on this live until it does. It's a promise, all right? So now let's read this candlestick right here. This is a 3-bar, okay? So the name of it, right, is an outside bar, but the nickname is a 3-bar. I appreciate you for doing this. I blasted the link to my Discord. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, love. All right, is this recorded? Yes, it'll be posted on YouTube as well, so you guys can go back and rewatch it. I'll probably have like a playlist where you guys can just binge watch these, right? It's gonna be like 2-hour-long videos. I'm gonna do these 3 to 4 times a week, so that way you guys can just binge it, and hopefully you're able to really just tackle the market the way you want to. Because I feel like if I trade and I do really well in the market, just kind of give you guys some context, I've done a little over $400,000 in profits from the stock market. So if I can do that, if I can help you make $1,000 a week or a month, or just help you get to where you're trying to get to, it doesn't take anything away from me, right? So that's why I'm doing this. So let's talk about this 3-bar. So a 3-bar, okay, is called a, what is it? Outside bar, okay? Now, who could take a guess of why it's an outside bar? Yes, I'm here courtesy of your Discord. Appreciate you, Danny. Yo, shout out to Danny. I really appreciate that. Okay. This works for Forex as well. Yes, it does. Okay. As long as you're reading a chart, this works. Okay. All right. Thank you, because I'm still at work. All good, all good. Shout out to all my workers. Okay. So it formed outside the bar. It's outside the previous candle. Exactly. So it's exactly what the name sounds like. So let's read this. The way you read this candle is based off this candle. So what does this mean? So if I mark off the high and the low of this previous candle, the way that I read this candlestick is based off of what happened here. So why is this called an outside bar? It's called an outside bar, and I think a better example would probably be this other one, because this one's a little bit off. So I think I'm going to use this one. It's going to be a better example. Let's go ahead and mark the high and the low of the previous candle. Okay. The reason this is an outside bar is because we broke above the previous candle, right? We broke above the previous candle's high, and we broke below the previous candle's low. So what does this mean though? This means volatility, right? You're basically saying, hey, we broke this direction and then we said, nope, we're gonna go take out the other side. And one of the cool things that you guys will learn is that I only trade two types of candlesticks. I trade threes and I trade failed twos. And I'm going to teach you failed twos. But a 3-bar is an actionable signal. And what do I mean by an actionable signal? It means when you see this candle, there's something that you can do afterwards. Okay? And I'll show you multiple times on trades that I've taken. I'll show you like real proof of, my profits and things like that. I'll go into the Discord. I'll show you like my actual profits that I post in my Discord. I'll show everything. Okay? Just full transparency. So the reason this is an outside bar is because you broke the high and the low of the previous candle, okay? And usually after this, you get a very strong move afterwards. And I'll show you guys, like I said, examples, okay? But do we all understand what a 3-bar is? This is called the Strat. Is that AKA an engulfing candle? Yeah, you can consider it, well, an engulfing candle has to come after, right? So the previous candle has to eat the next candle. Okay, we understand a 3-bar. Drop a yes if so. Right now, we're looking at the 15-minute time frame. Don't worry about the time frame right now. This works across all time frames. I just want you to pay attention to the candlesticks. Strat by Rob Smith, yes. Okay. So you broke above the previous candle's high, and you broke below the previous candle's low. This is why it's called an outside bar. You are outside the previous candle. Just like that. So high, low, high, low. That is why it's a 3-bar. It's volatility. Cool. Now let's talk about twos. Twos are very simple, okay? And there's a couple things you need to know about twos. So let's talk about a 2. So this is a 2-bar. So there's different types of twos, okay? So a 2-bar is, a 2 is a directional bar, right? That is its name. It is a directional bar. When you're thinking of a 2, right, think one party has control. So when you guys are trading, we all know that there are bulls and bears. If you're a bull, right, think of when a bull is fighting, it strikes up. So you're betting on the market to go up. You're betting on the asset or the underlying asset to go up. And I don't like using these big words because I know there's a lot of new people in here, but like this is the terminology. And I think it's important for you to just keep coming to these lives so you keep getting the hang of the terminology. But whatever you're looking at, you're betting on it to go up. Let's just put it like that, okay? Bears, right? Think about bears. They walk on their hands, right? Well, if you are a bear, right, then you're betting that the market goes down, okay? That is your hopes. You make money on both ways when you guys are trading, okay? I think we understand that, right? So what is this? This is a 2-up. Why do I call it a 2-up? Because the bulls are in control. The buyers are in control. So we pushed up and we're followed by another 2. So the reason this is a 2-up is because, again, you have to read it based off the previous candle. If I mark the high and the low, we broke one side and closed higher, right? So we opened here on this candlestick, we pushed up, we broke this candle, right? We broke the high, and then we closed higher. So this is bullish momentum. This is showing you that buyers are currently in control, all right? Perfect. So these are 2-up. Let's look at a 2 down, right? So right here, this is a 2 down. Okay, this is a 2 down. The market opened here, and guess what? You broke the previous candle's low. So on a 2-up, you're breaking the previous candle's high. On a 2 down, you're breaking the previous candle's low. Okay? Cool. So this is a 2 down, this is a 2-up, right? We know that these are directional candlesticks. We understand that, hey, this is showing us who is in control. So when you're reading the strat, now you're looking at the market from, hey, we're consolidating. Hey, after consolidation, so look at this. This is how you would read this, right? You had volatility when the market opened, right? So you broke the previous candle's low and then you pushed higher, right? What happens next is the next candle opens and then the sellers take back control. This is usually around this. What time is this? 9:45. So between 9:45 to 10 a.m. This is around a trend time. That's what that's called. This is where the market usually, fakes out all the beginners, all the people who think that they can just keep cooking the market in the first 15 minutes. Granted, there's some traders who do that. Shout out to y'all. But for me, I like to stay out the first 15 minutes of the day because there's a lot of volatility and you can get caught on the wrong side of the market during its trend time. Okay. So what happens is we break out higher, and then the sellers take back control, and then for about 30 minutes you consolidate since we're on the 15-minute time frame. After you're consolidating, right? After you're done consolidating, the bulls step back in and you take back control, right? So this is how you're reading the strat, okay? So now let's go over to my favorite candlesticks, okay? So these are my favorite candles to take action on. So let's talk about, so we understand, wait, real quick. We understand 1s, 2s, and 3s, correct? Drop a yes down below. Yeah, everyone's who is impatient, they don't wait for trend confirmation. They do not. Bro, that got me one time, lost 410 minutes. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. If you guys are paying attention, everything should be clicking right now. If you guys just joined, it will start to click more. It's just because you just joined, so just keep following along, okay? All right, cool. So now let's talk about a failed 2. What is a failed 2? Tez, man, these words, bro, I promise. You just need to keep hearing it, right? You didn't know the terminology for a lot of the stuff that you do. Even at your job, you didn't know the terminology, right? You didn't know what a KPI was and all these things. If you don't have a business, you probably don't know what that is anyways. But like, there's certain things you just didn't know. Terminology, you know, slang that your friends was talking and then you caught on. It's the same thing. It's just slang. That's it. It's called tradeanese. That's what we call that in our community, okay? So now let's take a look at a failed 2. So this candle here, let's use this candle right here. This candle right here is a failed 2, okay? So let's go ahead and mark this out. So the way you read this candle is based off the previous candle. Every time you look at the strat, it's always based off the previous candle, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark the high and the low, okay, of the previous candle, just so everything is clicking as we go on, okay? So the one thing I need people to understand, because when they see this on my chart and stuff, they be like, bro, it's green though, right? So look, if I turn this indicator off, the strat assistant, if I turn it off, this is a bearish candlestick, right? This is sellers in control. However, when I turn on the strat assistant, right, it's green. Why is that, right? Well, the reason it's green and it has a red border around it is because it's telling you a story. Hey, this candlestick broke above the previous candle's high and then it failed. It failed to close higher. So it came back through and closed lower than where it opened. So remember, I know I just went super fast. Let me slow down. I get it. This candlestick opened here. So remember, this is a bearish candlestick. You open at the top, you close at the bottom. So this is how this is how you read this. This candlestick opens right here. It pushes past the recent candle's high. And then it says, nope, they basically said, yo, sellers pulled back up and they said, nah, we got control right now. Y'all good. Bulls, y'all go sit down somewhere. We taking back control. So they step back in, or this can also be who? Buyers taking profits, right? And what happens now is it fails and it closes lower than where it opened. This is why it's a bearish candlestick. So at one point it was green, it was bullish, and then it failed, right? What's up, family? What's up? What's up, Garcia? Hope all is well. Okay? Perfect. So this is a failed 2 up. Do we understand that? You broke past the previous candle's high and you failed to close higher. You just closed lower. That's it. Just think of it like that. So look what happens. When you see a failed 2, this is also an actionable signal. This is showing you that, look, bulls were in control. They were in control here. It failed to stay higher. This is a reversal. In most case scenarios, depending on the time of the day, right, you can catch a reversal off of this, right? So look at this. It failed to stay higher. So sellers took back control, and look at the next candlestick, right? Look at the next candlestick. This volume would have paid you this day, right? This is because sellers are in control. This is how this works, okay? So it was a failed 2. It's an actionable signal, meaning you can mark the high and the low, and you wait for the break of this candle. And I'll show you guys how to take entries on these candlesticks as well. I just want to right now just explain these, okay? Now, yes, there's a ton of different, names that people call it. Some people call it a short cover, a gamma squeeze, reversal, fake out. There's a ton of different terminology, right? I'm just explaining how I explain it, right? Let's talk about a failed 2 down, okay? This is a great example right here. So watch this. And I promise it'll make sense as we keep going through and showing you examples. I promise it's going to keep making more sense, all right? So look at this. So let's read these candles. So buyers were in control. Buyers were continuously in control until sellers stepped in, until the bears stepped in. it pushes down and it closes lower, showing you that, hey, sellers might be in control here. The next candle is a 2 down followed by momentum. So there's a ton of momentum being pushed down. The next candlestick, which is a failed 2 down, right? It opens, right? Because this is a green candlestick. It pushes down. So again, let me just show this again. This is a green candlestick. The only reason it is red, right? The body is red is because it's showing you at one point in time, it was red until it turned green. Hopefully that clicks, right? So at one point we were red. At one point sellers were in control until they lost control and it closed higher. So the buyers basically stepped back in and they said, nope, y'all can sit down somewhere. We got this one, all right? They stepped back in and then they took back control, and look what happens. When you see this failed 2 down, you failed to go lower. Now we're going higher, right? Now we're going higher. And this works across all time frames. It works across futures, forex, gold. It works across everything, right? You can look at Bitcoin in the same way. You know, you can, like, I'm telling you, it works across everything. Okay. We following along? Y'all still with me? Is this the strat? Yes. Are y'all still with me? Okay. So now you know what the strat is, right? You know that there's only 3 things a candlestick can do. It's either going to consolidate, it's going to go higher, or it's going to go lower, period, right? We know that now we can spot out reversals, right? Hey, these people were in control. They lost control, right? And now who took back control? The bears, right? Or in this case scenario, buyers, took back control from bears. So the reason I like the strat so much is because I comprehend the market now. I comprehend price action. I understand these concepts now. So now when I'm looking at a chart, I can say, hey, I want to look for an entry around here. So we'll go through different entries and trades and things like that. Okay. So let's actually come up here. Let's look at this first trade idea, right? So let's look at how these entries work. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and rewind this and let's go through it. So this is a 3 bar, right? If I mark out the high and the low of this candle. So the way I trade 3s and failed 2s, right, is that I'm looking for a breakout. I'm looking for either the next candle to break above or below. I know some people like to overcomplicate stuff, but there's a little bit more to it, I promise, but it's going to click in a second, okay? So this 3 bar is an actionable signal, meaning on the next candlestick, you want to look for something to happen. So this candle at pre-market, this works during pre-market. I use this a lot during pre-market. We teach this in TSA. If you guys are in TSA, drop a what up down below. Shout out to all my TSA members, okay? So let's take a look at this, right? You mark out the high and the low of this 3 bar. You're waiting for either a break above or a break below. This is called a 3-2. Okay, so watch what happens. Right? This is an actionable signal. What happens now? So look at this. So a lot of times what happens with 3s, okay, is when you get a break in a certain direction, so say like it goes 3-2, 2s like to continue. Yo, what up, MJ? Hope all is well, bro. 2s like to continue. So if you see a 2, right, a lot of times it'll like to continue in this direction. Yo, what up, Louis? What up, Gondorgal? What up, TSA? What's up, y'all? Shout out to Lala. Shout out to Jonathan. Yo, shout out to Dukes. Okay? So this is how a 3-2 works, right? So this is, and I didn't make this up. Again, shout out to Rob Smith, who was the creator of the strat. This is just a concept that started making sense for me, and that's how I trade, okay? You can do this with SPX as well. Yes, I only trade SPX right now. So yes, you can do the same thing. It works very well with SPX. You just got to use certain time frames. Okay. Watch this. Okay. Let's go up to a higher time frame, right? So let's say we go up to let's go to a 4-hour. I think a 4-hour would work really well. Okay. So do we want to use a 4-hour? Actually, no. Let's look at, we can go to a daily actually for all my swing traders, okay? Where would you have entered on this? Yes, I'm about to break down all the entries and things like that. So actually, let's go back to that example real quick and where I would have entered at. So when I see a 3 bar at pre-market, I mark out the high and the low. And this is your entry. And this is your entry over here. Actually, you guys can't even see that, I don't think. But I'm going to put it here anyways. So this is how you're going to take trades off of this, right? So you see this 3 bar at pre-market, right? Market opens. Whichever side we break, you take that side, right? So this 3 bar right here, it's an actionable signal, right? So now when I'm looking here, I say, hey, we broke lower, right? And we're at a key level. I'll break down key levels. This is where, regardless of the strategy that you trade, key levels is the most important thing. It is just support and resistance, but it is the most important thing that you can add. If whatever strategy you trade, whatever you believe, the one thing you could take away from this live when I get to it is the key levels. Does not matter what you trade. Key levels, Monday's highs, Monday's lows, previous week highs and lows, Monday's highs and lows. These are all support and resistance levels. When price gets to these points, and I'll show you guys multiple times over and over and over, whenever price gets to these points, there's something going to happen. It's either going to break out, it's going to retest, or it's going to just completely fail, right? And those are the ways that you look at it, right? So to answer your question, how would you have taken this trade, right? This 3 bar right here, you look for the break below. You take the entry soon as it breaks below here. So this candle prints. Soon as this candle breaks below, you take puts. And then look what happens. And you write it down. And then these are my levels. Previous day low, this is a target. Previous week close, this is a target, right? You got week open, so this would have been a last target. Well, let's see if it gets down here. Where it breaks the week open, this is where the market opened this week, right? Where will my next level be? Previous month close. Well, I would look at this and I would say, hey, you know, I just caught a $5 move in the matter of 45 minutes. You know, either I'm just letting runners run, right? Which means you're buying multiple contracts and you're just letting the trade play out, but I'm taking profits off the table. So as each one of these new key levels are hit, I'm just taking profits off. This is how I trade. Whenever a key level gets hit, I start shaving off profits. Because the reason being is because this is the next likely place that price is going to bounce from, right? So when previous day lows, when we get down to this level, there's a high likelihood that it'll either break above, right? It'll come down, it'll bounce from here, or it'll fall through. And when it falls through, it falls with momentum, okay? And if you're confused on that, I promise I'm gonna make it all make sense. Yes, you would buy puts here. Let's look at another example, right? On a 3 bar. And I'm gonna go through a bunch of examples with you, right? So let's look at a failed 2 first, since it's right here, right? So the market is selling off during pre-market, right? You get a failed 2 down. So at this point in time, the market opens and it's selling off. Around 10 o'clock, right, in the morning, 10 a.m., after the first 30 minutes of the day, this is usually where the trends start happening. This is where you usually start either getting a reversal or you just start seeing the market trending in a certain direction. So how would I trade this, right? Well, look at this. When you see this 2 bar, right, this failed 2, it broke past the previous candle's low, buyers stepped back in, and it closed higher, showing me that what? Even if you just look at this candlestick, when you see long wicks, this is rejections. So now guess what? Buyers step back in and they're in control. So where would I take my trade? This is a trade that I'm even more confident in, right? The reason being is because you can tell by the wick. You can read candlesticks based off the wicks and the bodies. If I see a candlestick that has a very long wick on one side, this is showing me that, hey, this is a rejection, right? So you rejected going lower, push back higher, and the buyers are in control. So you take calls right here. Soon as this candle breaks, you take the calls. And then you just have levels that you take profits at. Okay? Let's go through another example on a 3 bar, right? This is a prime example. Oh my God. You read this candle based off the wick, right? So let's just say, you know, in the beginning of the day, right? This is a 3 bar. You're looking for an actionable signal, right? Let's rewind this. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's go select bar. So let's say the market looks like this. And let me actually put my charger on 1 second. Bam. And then let's go ahead and move this. 1 second, guys. Okay. So just off of the 3 bar, you can do this off failed 2s as well. It works the same exact way, right? So look at this. The market opens. We push higher right out the gate, right? As you're pushing higher, you start getting a little bit of rejection here. Okay, but we know that this is an actionable signal. So I'm waiting for the next candle to do something. I'm waiting for it to either break lower or break higher, right? What happens next is this candle breaks lower. So let's say you took puts, right? Let's say you're taking sales. This is working in your favor, but you have to know what levels. So this right here is yesterday's lows. This is the previous day lows, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, I might start shaving off profits from here. Is it a big move? Not really, right? But it still gives you profits. So this trade in the beginning of the day, this might only give you 20 or 30%, right? But at the end of the day, I don't teach you how to I don't teach people how to just fucking gamble away their money. I just want to show you how to compound at the end of the day, right? If you compound, you'll be able to build your account. Y'all are looking for these people on YouTube and TikTok who are trading and making thousands and thousands of dollars. They selling you on where they're at now, not what it took to get there. What I'm showing you right now is what it takes to get there. Okay. So look at this previous day lows, right? We got to this level. We went a little bit lower and then we swung back. So this is a hammer candle, right? So what does this mean? This candle opened up here and it dropped all the way down here. And I'm talking pulled back about 98% of how far it dropped. So it had a huge drop and then it recovered. So the bulls step back in and they don't want it to go any lower, right? So this candle closes like this. So if I see something like this, let's say I took puts and let's say I didn't take profits in time, right? Well, this candlestick right here, as soon as it printed, I would have probably closed out my trade. The reason being, I would have took the losses because this is a prime reversal candlestick. This is showing me that there's a lot of buyers in the market right now. So guess what happens on the next candlestick? You push back higher, you break past the previous candle's high, and look what happens. You trend back in the opposite direction and you go back to where, right? It shows you another hammer. You get a fail too, and then we start consolidating a little bit. Right now, this wasn't probably the best day to trade, but this is another example. Let's go through another example, right? Like I said, I'm gonna explain this stuff until it just makes sense, right? This is another 3-bar. So watch this. And right now we're just looking at the 15-minute time frame. You can go up to higher time frames, lower time frames, so on and so forth. Let's go to the hourly. So watch how this works on the 1-hour time frame. Let's go to, okay, so look at this. One thing that I always do, so some of my favorite time frames, when I trade SPX, I'm majority of the time looking at the 1 hour, 30-minute, and 15-minute. If I'm trading any other indicator, I'm majority of the time I'm watching on the 30-minute, okay? Do you do coaching? So for those of you guys who are in here, I'll be doing a free live workshop on Sunday this month on the 21st. It's free to join. I'll just basically be doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, but a little bit more in depth and with a PowerPoint, so you can really get educated on it. So if a lot of this is you're still missing some things, there should be a link in my bio that you guys can click and you can register for that. It's 100% free. It doesn't ask you for a card or anything like that. So you just pretty much just pull up. All right, cool. So let's take a look at this, right? This is another 3-bar. This is an actionable signal. Now this is on a 1-hour time frame, right? So at 10 a.m. this next candle prints, and look at this. You have a 3-bar, mark the high and the low. This candle, we go 3-2 up. So we break above the previous candle's high, right? And then you continue in this direction. Yo, what's up? Let's go. What time is this? This is at 10 a.m. right here. And right now we're looking at the 1-hour time frame. So each one of these candlesticks represents 1 hour of price action. Okay, cool. If you guys are watching this right now and you're still asking what the numbers are, you can rewatch this on YouTube at Dantes Akron if you guys are watching on TikTok. All right, let's go to another example. Right now we're on the 1 hour. Okay, so let's look at something else, right? Another strat setup. This is called a 2-2 reversal. What do I mean by that? So this candle right here, at one point, the sellers were in control. We found support. And then this candlestick opens and it breaks above the previous candle's high, right? And with this candle, this is showing you a reversal. So there's this combination sheet on Google. If you guys look up Strat combinations, you can download these combination sheets and you can pretty much just watch, study those. I think I actually have one over here. Laminated, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's right here. So you guys should be able to see this. This is the combination sheet. So basically what I did is I tried out all of them, right? And I was like, yeah, there's some of them that I don't like. And I learned which ones work best for me. So the ones that I like is trading threes, 3 bars, right? And failed twos. Now this is a whole combination sheet. There's all types of different trades you can take. There's 3, 1, 2. There's like different combinations, right? There's about 12, I think, 4, 5, so about 15 different combinations. I promise you, it doesn't have to be as difficult. All you have to do is choose the ones that make the most sense for you, that you want to stick with, right? And for me, it just came from experience. It came with testing things and just trying it out myself. So this is a reversal, okay? So this is how I trade, okay? This is the strat. Do we understand the strat? Is things clicking right now? Are we clicking? Let's go ahead and remove these drawings. Is everything clicking right now? Let's go down to a 30-minute time frame. Your other video you just posted on your account, is that good for beginners? Yes, it breaks down the strat in a beginner-friendly manner as well. Comment yeah down below if you guys understand the strat so far. We talked about 1s, 2s, 3s, and failed 2s. These are very, very key setups that you can take. And we went over the ones that I like trading the most. I like taking entries off of 3s and failed 2s. Buy low, sell high. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. It's clicking. Good. Most definitely. Okay, awesome. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next thing. I just signed up and it's asking for your card info. I think you clicked the wrong thing. Actually, on TikTok, I don't know if the registration link is on there. Now that I think about it. Let me see something real quick. Let me check TikTok real quick. Yeah, this is actually the wrong link in here. I forgot to replace it because this is something that we just started doing. So let's go ahead and go to links, and then let's go ahead and put my link tree. /_ the real test. Bam. Okay, so the link in my bio on TikTok should work now. YouTube should already be on there as well. Yeah, so it's in there for TikTok. For all of y'all who want to come to the live workshop where it's going to be a PowerPoint teaching everything live, you can click the link in my bio. It's the first link in my link tree. Should be working now. Okay. All right, cool. So do we want to go over key levels next, or do we want to go over smart money concepts where we talk about order blocks, fair value gaps? Which one do you guys want to do? This is the best I have heard this explained. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. My goal with this is just like making sure that this is something that people can comprehend at the end of the day. Like, I believe that everyone can make money in the market if you're disciplined. If you're not disciplined, none of this, no matter what strategy you use, trading will not work for you. Okay, so we got key levels, IFGs, fair value gaps, smart money concept, key levels, SMC, please. Okay. So we'll do SMC first, and then we'll do key levels. Okay? We'll do SMC first, and then we'll do key levels. Okay? So let's jump into it. So what is SMC? I love this. All right. SMC stands for Smart Money Concepts. So this is about to blow a lot of people's mind. If you're a complete beginner to trading, this is about to blow your mind, right? Listen to this. When you're looking at the market, right? This is a perfect example. This candlestick right here. So let's go ahead and grab an arrow. Real quick. Actually, do I have it favorited? I do not know where my favorites. Okay. Let me grab an arrow really quick, guys. Okay, arrow maker. Let's go ahead and grab this. So I want you guys to pay attention to this right now. Let's turn off the magnet. Okay. So do we all see this candlestick right here? Drop a yes in the chat if you see this candlestick. Drop a yes in the chat if you guys can see this candlestick. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, perfect. So what this is this is institutional selling. Tez, you're using big words now, bro. What does that mean? Okay. Well, here's the thing. About 97% of the market is made up of smart money. What is smart money? People on Wall Street. You've already heard this, right? Like Exactly. Whales, people with big money. And I'm not talking about $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. To be completely honest with you, $100,000 is not a lot of money. I don't want to argue with you about it, but in the market, it might make a little dent, like not even a little dent. It probably make like a small little dot in the market compared to what they're trading with, right? So what smart money is this is institutions. What do I mean by institutions? When you hear this, I want you to understand what this means, right? People on Wall Street, banks, hedge funds, people who are moving, I'm talking millions of dollars. I'm talking $50 million orders, $30 million orders, $10 million orders. There's orders being placed for $100 million. Like when you see stuff like this is what makes up all of this, right? This candlestick, your $1,000 that you're trading with, the $5,000 that you're trading with, the $10,000, whatever amount of money you're trading with, has not done anything in this. Let's say you're buying calls into this, right? You're betting that it's gonna go up. It did absolutely nothing when it came up against smart money concepts, SMC, right? So smart money moves the market. And what do I mean by this? Have you ever wondered why when data comes out about the market, think about this. When there is data that comes out, right? Let's say home sales, right? Let's say home sales is really, really good and the market skyrockets, right? Well, the thing is it's not because you put money in with $2,000 and made the market move up. Absolutely not. There are people with millions and millions of dollars who are clicking buttons. So this is the one thing I always tell people. You have to think about money in a bigger way. Like the way you think about money is so small, right? Like, and this is why I think it's important to people to join like these lives and things like that, because I've made a few $1 million, right? But to be completely honest with you, the amount of money that I've made, I don't even think it's a lot. And when I say this to people, they be like, bro, you're just being cocky, or you're being blah, blah, blah. No, when you go look at balance sheets of a company and you see $100 billion in a quarter, right? When you see a company being valued at $1 trillion, you put that into perspective on what you're making. And this is why I love being in the market, because you start thinking about money in a different type of way. There are people who trade their time for $20 an hour when I know students right now who are making $1,000 in a day from one trade that may take all of an hour or 2 hours. But the thing is people don't look at money like that. So when I look at smart money and when I learned smart money, it made so much sense, because the thing is you don't move the market. The whales do. The people with millions of dollars do. So when you see a candlestick that looks like this is institutional selling. Okay? So the reason I trade smart money concepts is because I comprehend it. It makes sense to me. I didn't understand trend lines and why does price bounce off of this line? It didn't make sense to me. Right? I bought the courses. I paid for the mentorship groups. I paid for the Discord groups. I paid for the courses. I did everything that you've already done. I have been in the same spot as you. I did everything. I've probably spent, like, on education in the last few years, I've spent well over like $80,000 on my education. Not just in the market and other things, but like I've spent that much money. Right? So the key thing that you need to do is just keep educating yourself. So when you're looking at a candlestick like this is not you making up this. Even if you put $2,000 and you're going in the right direction, right? It's not you making up majority of this price action. So why is this important? The problem is you don't understand smart money concepts yet. You don't understand SMC. So when something happens, right, you don't understand why it's happening. You don't know how to trade. Like, let me ask y'all this. If we all had a friend, right? Let's say I'm your friend, I'm your cousin, and I'm trading with, let's say I got $50 million, right? Listen to this. I want y'all to engage with me right now. So let's say I got $50 million as my portfolio size. And let's just say I'm trading with about, a light 20 million. Right? Let's say light 20 M's, right? Let's say I call you and I say, yo, you see, let's say GameStop. Yo, you see GameStop, GME? Yeah, bro. So I'm about to put 20 million on that right now, right? I'm going to buy $20 million calls for about 2 months out. And you're like, okay, bet. The first thing that I'm going to do, if someone called me like that, I'm like, oh, bet. You're going to place the order, right? Let me place the order with you so I can ride the wave up, right? So this is what's important. When you understand smart money concepts, you know where the whales are buying and selling. I'm buying, exact. How many, if your friend hit you up, if I hit you up and I say, yo, I'm putting $20 million on this stock, what are you going to do? Are you buying or are you going to sell against me? This is what's happening in real time. This is the market. This is the market. The reason you're getting faked out so many times is because we're all looking at the same chart. It does not. This is why I keep telling y'all. People be arguing about the strategy that they teach and who's better and who's not. We are all going against the same person, the same people on Wall Street, hedge funds, banks, the people who live the lavish lifestyle, right? You pay taxes, they pay no taxes, right? And these are the people manipulating the markets, right? And this is why you don't understand how to make money in the market, right? So this is a part of the trend, right? So what do I mean by this, right? Let's turn on the indicator. I know I'm blabbering away. Okay. So watch this. So first off, we're going to start off with an order block. Love the passion in this moment. Well worth the watch. Thank you. So let's talk about this, right? Let's move this out the way. Okay. This is where you need to pay attention. This is like when you lock in, you sit up, right? You know how they be like, you know, you sitting back, you playing a game, and then you lock in. You like, yeah, let me lock in. This is that moment right now. This is where you lock in like that. Okay, cool. Share it with a friend. Share this live with a friend if you care about them. If you don't care, then you don't want winners around you, which is crazy. Just want to say that. Will this be on YouTube? Yes, this is being recorded on YouTube right now. Okay, so watch this. Notice something. So this indicator that I'm using is called something called Lux Algo, right? Shout out to JR. Shout out to JR. JR Greatness, who put me onto it, one of my mentors. Very, very grateful for him. Shout out to JR. Lux Algo is $60 a month. If you're going to come to me and talk about you can't spend $70 a month or $60 a month, I can tell you right now, if you spent money twice on food at all this month, you could have covered this. But yet you think it's okay to put toxic stuff in your body, right? You think that's more important than feeding your mind. I can't change that. Some of you are meant to be broke. I can't agree with you. But here's the thing. For those of you who are in here, right, and you're like, yo, I really want to lock in. I really want to take things to the next level. I'm not afraid to spend a little bit of money. $70 a month. I don't have an affiliate link. I don't make no money when you go sign up with them. This is just something I use. Put it like that, okay? So Lux Algo will mark out order blocks. It'll mark out gaps, which is this, right? It'll mark out higher highs, lower lows, certain trend things, right? So let's take a look at this. When you guys see this candle, right? You see this huge selling candle? Well, what happened above it, LUXALGO. Somebody type that down below in the chat. LUXALGO.com. Okay? So when you see this right here, I want us to pay attention here first. Okay? There was an order block that was created. So what is an order block? Okay? The best way to put it, and a simple way to put it, okay, is where institutions are buying and selling from, right? So at this level, notice how if I turn this indicator off, we already understand that institutions make up the market. So when you see a very strong move happen in the market like this, it creates an order block, right? What does that mean? This is where a ton of orders, this is where a lot of money was placed at. That's what an order block means. So remember, okay, so let's break down a big word that a lot of people don't understand. Liquidity. And now I know I'm losing some of y'all. I just had hella people who just click off right now. I get it. It's all good, right? But let's talk about liquidity. I promise you it's not as difficult as a word as you may think. It just sounds difficult to say and it sounds weird, okay? But it's important for you to understand. Liquidity is just orders. When you are trading, you are placing an order. When you're placing a buy, what are you doing? You're placing a buy order. When you're taking a sell order, right? It is an order that you're placing in the market, right? When you are buying calls, right? You are placing an order in the market. When you're buying buying puts, right? When you are buying puts, you are placing an order in the market. Everything you do trading wise is all orders. Okay? Everything you do is orders. So when you hear somebody say liquidity, it's just orders. So what an order block is, it's just liquidity. It's a bunch of orders being placed on a specific level. So this order block was created. Watch this. I want to show y'all this. Watch how crazy this is. So look at this. When I rewind this, notice how, we're waiting for everything to come in. Notice how this order block is gone. But the moment institutions or smart money, the whales, the moment they start selling, look at this, the order block is created. So basically what happens is smart money made a call and they say, yo, this is me telling you, yo, I'm short in QQQ right now. I'm about to throw probably like 100 mil at it right now. Yeah, if you want to jump in, you can, right? This is what that's saying. And they did it. And then look what happened. When they sold $100 million of puts, or they bought $100 million in puts, they're short in the market. Look what happens. And then notice a lot of times what will happen is price will come down to another order block. This is where they like to buy from. Okay? This is where they like to buy and sell from. So watch this. I'm going to go through multiple different examples. Watch this. We're going to go over to a 30-minute time frame. And we're going to go back and look at this, right? This is about to just, just watch. So look at this candlestick right here. We just talked about this. Smart money. This candlestick is made up of a ton of orders, a ton of smart money. Simpler, even simpler. A lot of orders came in right here. A lot of people trade, a lot of money was put in right here. So when you see this order block get created, it's because what? There was a ton of buy orders from right here. We recovered. And then look at the next candle. The market started reacting to this buy order that was coming in. And it's not just one person making the call. It's tons of whales putting money in at the same time saying, hey, this is too low in the market. Let's reverse it. And it reverses. Right now, obviously, they're not all talking to each other on the phone, right? But at the end of the day, this just shows you what this looks like. Okay? So this is now a bullish order block. Why is it bullish? A ton of orders was placed here, right? And now the market moves up higher. So watch this. I'm gonna go down to it. This 30-minute time frame. We can stick to right here. Somebody give me an indicator. I mean a ticker. Somebody give me a ticker. Drop a ticker down below. I'll pull up one and we'll go through it all, right? It shows on every ticker. Institutions trade every level. Somebody said NVIDIA. Okay, so let's look at NVIDIA. Okay, watch this. Watch. Okay, where we at? Let's go ahead and rewind this. So what do we have here, right? An order block comes up. Okay, an order block comes up when there is a ton of institutional selling, right? Price sold off, creating an order block. So now what does this mean though, right? So now we understand where it's coming from, how it's created. What does that mean? It means this is a level of resistance. So when I trade SMC, order blocks is levels of resistance and support. So let's go back and let's just keep looking at different examples so you kind of see what I'm talking about. I think I gotta keep rewinding it. I will. Okay, so let us watch this. We're gonna come back here. We're gonna rewind this. We're gonna play this forward a little bit. Okay. So look at this. There was an order block that was created right here, right? Price sold off. We created another order block. So price pushed up higher. We retested the same order block once, right? And then we continue pushing higher. So a lot of the times what will happen is price will sell off to an order block and it'll bounce from that level. So a good example of this will be, I think there was a few on earnings I want to go over. What was earnings last week? What did we trade? Was it PDD? Let's look at PDD really quick. Let's go ahead and remove this. I want to show you guys different examples of price coming back to an order block and rejecting or bouncing from it. So let's come back here. Snow is another good one. That was earnings. Okay, so look, watch this. This is a perfect example. Okay, so look, this order block was created back here. So now this is a level of resistance now, right? So when price is under an order block, this is resistance. When price is over an order block, let's just say, it doesn't have one, right? But let's say if price is, if an order block is under the price, then that is going to be a bullish order block. This is where if price comes down, this is the next likely place for price to bounce from. Okay, so let's watch. This is an order block over here that was created. You can tell by what? The selling pressure that came in. Okay, if this was created here, notice how we keep coming right. Price came into the same order block and sold off. So all an order block is, it's a simpler way of saying support and resistance. Right? It is a level that institutions like to buy and sell from. So if you go up to, let's say, a higher time frame and you look at like a 1 hour time frame, right? see if this is done loading. PDD probably isn't the best example. Let's look at snow. I think we broke above some order blocks. And look at this. We gave this entry a little minute ago now. Okay, this is good. Let's go ahead and remove these. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. So notice this. This is an order block, right? When an order block is created, it is based off of a ton of orders or liquidity coming into the market. So you see it by here. This is where institutions like to buy at. This is where they had like to buy it. Why? Because this was also earnings. So this is why you see the strong push up, right? Now price hasn't came back down from there. I mean, this move right here was like, this is day before earnings. This is the earnings day right here. And then this is the continuation. So this move right here was absolutely insane, right? I'm trying to look for, let's look at IWM. Let's look at better examples. I can't find like a really good example. Usually I can just see them right then and there when I'm just trading. But the market, obviously I trade options, so the market isn't open right now. Okay, another bullish order block. It's a bullish order block because there was whales coming in, buying IWM, pushing it up, right? Creating an order block. So next time price comes down here, this is going to be a level of support. Is this making sense? Is everything clicking right now? Let me know down below. I'm looking for better examples to just kind of keep showing you, but like the market has just kind of been running more recently. I'm looking for like sell-offs to show you where, hey, we bounce from this level. But if everything is making sense so far, just comment yes down below. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, great. Amazing. So we know what an order block is, right? This is where institutions are buying and selling from. So think of it like this, right? When price comes back to this order block down here, what could possibly happen, because nothing is 100%, but what could possibly happen is that price will come back and revisit this level, and then it'll bounce off of it, okay? Okay, good. Again, smart money concepts is all based off of institution, whales. If we know that the majority of the market is moving based off institutions, why would you not want to buy where they're buying at or sell where they're selling at? Right? I think another example, I think a better example would probably be SPX. If I go to the 15-minute on SPX, excuse me. There's really like no amazing examples where it just clicks as far as where price came down to. Everything should be making sense. Do it on gold. It makes total sense. Okay, good. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not like missing anything from this specific part. Right. Let's go back to QQQ. Okay. So we understand order blocks, right? Now a fair value gap, right? Now, obviously there's different people who trade it in different ways. The way that I look at a gap, I don't look at it as like a fair value gap. I look at it as a gap, right? And the way that I learned it, right, is basically a gap is an imbalance on the chart. So what do I mean by that? So the reason I love this indicator is because it marks out a gap, right? So let me do this real quick. Okay, this is a gap down right here. Okay, cool. Let's look at this example right here. Actually, it was a little bit cleaner on NVIDIA. So let's look at it from right here. Okay. So this right here is a gap. Let's go ahead and delete this. Let's go ahead and pull this up. So right here to here is a gap. Okay. Cool. So from here to here, this is a gap. This is a bearish gap. What do I mean by this? So notice how it's red. This means sellers were so much in control that there has not been one green candlestick in here. So what does that mean? This is an imbalance on the chart. What do I mean by that? The charts don't like to be imbalanced, right? So the thing that I teach and the thing that we all need to understand about a gap is that gaps either will fill or they will continue, right? And there's other ways of saying this. There's people who say gap and crap, gap and go, right? There's different terminology, right? But when it comes to the gaps, right, the way that I trade these is I'm looking for orders to either continue after the gap. So if you see a large sell-off, right, or I'm looking for price to recover from the gap, right? So let me see. Exactly, lack of sell orders being filled, or a lack of buy orders in this case scenario, right? So basically there was no real buyers stepping in right here. There's a huge lack of buyers at these levels. It's just straight sellers in control, which creates this gap, okay? And the way that I play a gap is that when I see a gap, I'm like, okay, perfect. Either this price will come back up and refill this gap, right? Or we'll just continue in that same direction. So an example of this, UNH, which is, watch this. Okay, good. So I'm gonna delete all of this and we're on the daily chart. So let's look at UNH. I am going to, okay, so look at this, boom. So this is a gap. So price basically was here. When they got news of the lawsuit, right? You know, of them finessing people, which is healthcare is a whole nother, I won't even talk about that right now. I don't even waste your time like that, right? But this is a gap down, right? So basically the market closed and the next day it opened here and then it continues selling off in this direction. And it look how much further down it went. So this is how I like to trade gaps. When a gap happens, when I see a gap, I like to say, hey, either we're gonna come back up and fill this gap, or we're going to continue in this direction. And this happens a lot of the times, right? I'm not going to tell you it happens every time. It's based off the case scenarios, based off what happened, right? But this gap right here, this open space, is just an imbalance on the chart. There's no buyers here. There's just nothing but sellers in control. Even if there are people buying in here, there's not enough buyers right now to outweigh the sellers. Does this gap make sense, guys? And I'm talking like we went from $600 a share all the way up here at $600 a share, and we dropped all the way to $247. Oh my God, getting absolutely smoked. Is this making sense? Do we understand a gap? Let's look at this on the 1 hour really quick. I want to look for a bullish gap. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, good. I'm not seeing enough yeses on TikTok. I need y'all to spam yes if that makes sense. Okay? So let's look at this gap, okay? This green gap right here is when bulls are in control, right? Bulls are in control. Look at the candlestick. It's a huge candlestick. There's no bearish candlesticks here. There's zero bearish candlesticks. So this space is just open. It's imbalanced. It's imbalanced. The chart, it's supposed to be buyers and sellers at these levels. It is imbalanced, and what I mean by imbalance is that it's not equal, right? It's not an equal amount of buyers and sellers taking up this space in the chart, okay? So this is what a gap is now. It's an imbalance on the chart. So the charts like to be balanced, which majority of the time gaps will get filled, right? So the gap that you see on UNH at some point in time might get filled. Now here's the thing about a gap. You don't know when it's gonna get filled, right? You just know that gaps do get filled. And in trading, everything is based off probabilities. It's not gonna 100% of the time work out in your favor, okay? This applies to crypto also. Crypto's open 24/7, but yes, if there's, say like you look at Ethereum, and let's say Ethereum just takes off, and there's like literally no bearish candlesticks, right? Well, yeah, it's created a gap. And gaps can get filled to the downside, gaps can get filled to the upside. Okay. It's gonna keep making more sense, I promise, okay? So now let's talk about key levels. Let's talk about key levels now. Just the gap. I don't trade fair value. Like there's certain ways of trading fair value gaps and things like that that I don't personally trade, right? This is just how I trade, and it's been working for me, okay? All right, cool. So let's look at a lower time frame. And you know what? We're going to go over to ES, which is futures, and we're going to look at actual trades that worked out, okay? So we're going to go back here, and I'm going to just give you guys examples now of different ways that this stuff has worked, okay? So watch this. This is where the learning and everything that you just sat through right now is going to start clicking. So watch this. So the very first thing that I look at when I come to the chart, let's say I see this right here, right? The first thing, the way I read this, and let me actually rewind it even further. Okay. So you have these levels here. So how would I look at trading SPX on this day? Okay, so let's take a look. So this is a 3-bar, and this is previous week high, right? Now there's this indicator called 50%er. So it's like literally 50 and then the percent sign and then ER. And it marks out like previous week highs, previous day highs, previous week lows. It marks out all of this stuff for you. So all I have to do is I can see them. I don't even have to keep this right here if I don't want to. I just personally like to mark it out just so I don't like skip past it because I'll be looking at the charts, like multiple charts at the same time. So just seeing the line there of previous week high, it helps me. Okay, so it's called 50%er. I want you to type that down below. 50, the number 50, percent, like the percent emblem, right? And then ER. That is the indicator name on TradingView. It's free. Okay. Good. So we're going to talk about key levels now. So what are some examples of key levels? Well, remember, a key level is basically where price reacts from. So a key level is basically support and resistance, right? So you have previous day highs and lows, the highs of lows of yesterday, of the day before. You have previous week highs and lows. Those are support and resistance from last week. What was the high that we got to last week? What was the low we got to last week? These are now new support and resistance levels. Well, previous month highs and lows, same thing. It was at one point we found some resistance, support, okay? Previous quarter highs and lows. So in the 3 months ago, what was our high and lows from there? So all of these levels, these are called key levels. And the reason they're key levels is because on higher time frames, price has done something at these levels. Okay? So watch how I click everything together. I'm gonna put everything together right now so you understand how this works. Okay? So when I look at this chart, right, first off, I'll zoom a little bit out, a little bit more. Okay. So this is after hour sessions. And right now I'm on the 15-minute time frame. So for me, I do top-down analysis. I start off at higher time frames, so I might start off at a 6-hour, or I start off at like a weekly or a daily, and I work my way down because I want to understand the trend. What is the higher time frame picture looking like? Right? It's like a puzzle. So look, on a puzzle, if you guys have ever put together a puzzle, right? There's the puzzle pieces, and then there's the picture of the puzzle, what the puzzle is supposed to look like, right? So you have what the puzzle is look like, and then you got to put the puzzle together with the little pieces, right? Well, what you're doing is the higher time frames is like looking at the picture of the puzzle and what it's supposed to look like. The lower time frames, right, is how you're putting everything together, right? So whatever happens on the higher time frame is more valid than the lower time frame. Eddie was good. Eddie, be a testimony for me real quick, brother. Does the Strat and SMC work? I'm gonna show people like our Discord results, but like I just want people to understand like this shit really works. You know what I'm saying? So let me get back to before I get sidetracked, right? So how would I read this, right? Well, first off, I will go to yesterday and I will look and I will say, okay, what did we do yesterday? Well, in the beginning of the day, we sold off. We found some support where previous week close. Okay, perfect. That's good to know. We broke out with a strong move higher. This is a trend move, right? And now you're kind of re-pulling back out, right? So look at this. This right here, notice how price stopped at the same level back here. Works all the time. I'll be trying to tell people, all right? So price came back to the same level back here. This was a level of support, right? So now I'm gonna go ahead and delete this and we're gonna look at this right here. How do you trade this? Somebody might ask me. After putting together everything we understand from this class, right? How do you put this all together, right? So look at this. Number one, I have a 3-bar. So first off, this is an actionable signal, right? The second thing I want to look at is, hey, this is an order block up here. Well, where did this come from? Well, this was from back here. So there was a lot of bulls who stepped in, which is why you got this trend move up. But now price is what? Price is under this order block. So now this has become resistance for us, right? This has now become resistance. So now the market opens and look what happens. I'm going to zoom in here because this is an exact trade that I literally missed out on. And I was pissed off. But look how you read this. We broke the high and the low of the previous candle. When this candle opens, you push up and you come back to an order block. Look, you come back to the order block and you fail. So you come from being all the way up here to pushing all the way back down and closing. So now I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, sellers are having control. And I also understand this because if you look left, we were selling off here. right? So what do? I say, okay, perfect. That's not the only thing I base it off of. Okay, perfect. So we got a 3-bar here on the 15-minute time frame. I might go up to higher time frames, look down from there. Cool. If everything looks like selling pressure, okay, cool. All right, my bias coming in is, okay, we can continue selling off. Perfect. Another thing is we have a gap right here. This is an open gap from this candlestick here. And I know that gaps will either fill or they will continue. Watch how we put all of this together with y'all. I know that gaps will either fill or they will continue. So automatically I'm thinking, hey, if we just came up and retested an order block and now we're selling back off and we have an open gap at the same price, at the same level as our previous week highs, well, it's a high likelihood that we come down and retest this level. So watch this. I'm saying, okay, cool. Well, this is my actionable signal right here, a 3-bar. So if price breaks, if this next candle breaks below here, I want to take my entry on puts, and I know I'm coming into support right here, right, which is our previous week highs. So I can either take profits at this level, or I can say, hey, let me see what price wants to do afterwards. And look what happens. The candlestick opens, it pushes higher, rejects and comes back through. And now I'm saying, okay, now we broke this previous week high. We broke this level. Well, where's the next place we could come to? The next key level, previous week close, right? So look what happens. The next candlestick comes down lower. Okay, so we break through the next key level, previous week close. Okay, cool. Knock that off. Well, what's my next target then? If you're still in this trade, what's my next target? Okay, previous day lows and previous month highs, right? Well, this is my next level that I can take it to. Well, look what happens. You come down and you fill a gap on a higher time frame. And you fill it to the T, like literally to the cent. Or about $1 off, right? Or a couple cents off. But that is how you put everything together. And I'm going to just keep going through multiple examples with y'all. Y'all can literally give me tickers and I will go through them for you. Yeah, his charts are all over the place. It's good. It's trading ease. I get it. And again, like I said, there is no perfect strategy. If you want your charts to be super simple, cool. I'm breaking this down for the people who want to comprehend what price is doing. That's it. Nice, I get it. I think the more I'm about to go through like 10 different examples with y'all, and I'm about to just make sure you get it. I'm gonna go through it thinking wise. You're gonna see the levels, you're gonna see everything. So I want you to comment a ticker down below right now, and I will go through it with you. IWM. Okay, so Eddie's in TSA, so I'm gonna take my people from TSA first. Okay, so let's look at IWM. IWM. Perfect example. Okay, so look at this day. Let's rewind this. So boom. Okay. So the first way that I would read this, obviously I start on a higher time frame, but for right now, I'm just gonna stick right here. Okay. So we're looking at IWM right now. Well, the first thing I want to understand is, okay, let me zoom out a little bit, right? So I look at the day before and I say, okay, we had a lot of selling pressure the day before. So we gapped up overnight, sold off the next day, right? And now we sold off and we're seeing a little bit of recovery. But the first thing I look at is this wick right here, right? Because price tried to break and go higher, but it failed, right? Okay, cool. I'm looking at the candlestick, I'm looking at the wick, I'm reading the story that it's painting a picture right now. You're just reading the picture, right? So now what happens is I'm saying, okay, cool. There's no actionable signal here. There's nothing that I see that will make me want to take a trade right now. So I'm sitting cash right now. I'm sitting on my hands. What happens with the next candle? Whoops, I did not mean to press play. Let's go ahead and go back. Okay, so watch this. So now I get an actionable signal around a key level. This is something I talk about on Twitter a lot. So if you guys are coming from Twitter, I'm showing you examples of things that I be tweeting. I only take trades that are failed 2s or 3s around key levels. This is what I mean by that, right? So basically what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, this price tried to come down, right? We broke through the order block and came back up, right? So naturally you would think, oh yeah, we're gonna keep going higher. Well, it's not always the case. I always mark out the high and the low of a failed 2. That's a reversal candle to me. Yeah, same thing. It's all the same terminology. It's different terminology, all the same stuff. How you read a chart is just how you read it. Yes, this is the strat, right? So I mark out the high and the low. The reason that I would want to take this trade is A, this is a failed 2 down. This is an actionable signal. I take action on these candlesticks when I see a candlestick like this. Number two is I see we are around previous day high, which is a high, a key level, right? So what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the next candlestick to break above for calls or break below for puts, right? Well, look what happens. When you break lower, right, you fill the gap that we just showed you, right? When the gap gets filled, you're saying, okay, cool. Even if you do see a little bit of a pullback, don't be there's kids on here. So like, don't be scared of holding on to a green trade, right? Because it could continue. There's no reason to sell this trade just yet. Yeah, this wick right here, but look at the body. Read the body of the candlestick before you just exit a trade. Because this is how people are they're taking small wins and not maximizing on huge wins, right? Yeah. You got the emoji right there. I don't want to say it because I'm recording this stuff, right? So you fill the gap, right? So this would have been a target in the first place, this gap right here. But let's say you keep holding on to the trade where, well, look at this. You come back down to previous week close. Is this not to the cent, y'all? Or am I tweaking? The body is telling you sell. Exactly. So this is like when I read the strat, you are reading price action. And then when you understand how to read a candlestick, it makes all the confluence come together. Like everything starts clicking. And I'm going to keep going through examples with different tickers y'all send me. Okay. So look what happens. You had a failed 2 up. It created an order block. The next candle opens, it sells off and breaks lower. So this is your entry right here. When this candle right here breaks under this line, you take the entry. You grab your puts. You push lower. The body is telling you to stay in the trade. So now what happens, the next candle opens, you retest, right? So you come up and you retest this level, right? It's like a break and retest. It's literally the same thing as all the other stuff that you might have traded in the past. It's just a different way of comprehending it, right? And it's a more consistent way of being able to read the market. So you have a break and retest. So you break lower, you come back up. This now becomes your ceiling, right? And now you break lower, you come down to previous week close, right? And then look what happens with the next candle. You get a failed 2 down, showing you, hey, we're at an order block. We have a failed 2 down at previous week close, previous week highs. It's possible, whoops, let me go ahead and do that. It's possible that we can either reverse from here and bounce. Okay, let's do that. It's possible we can bounce from here. So look what happens. You consolidate, and then you break lower, right? So again, a failed 2, you don't only take it in one direction. You mark out the high and the low to see who has control at that point, at that moment. Okay. So here's another thing, right? I get it. A lot of y'all be like, bro, this stuff don't work, bro. Oh my God, you out here lying to people, bro. Like, come on, bro, don't do that to people. Okay, well, like I'm very big on results. So I'll just go through some for you. How about that, right? So I do all of this stuff live. There's clips on my page where I'm trading live and I'm showing you everything, right? So this is me taking a trade, end of day trade, right? I'm sending the signals, 102% on IWM, taking the same exact trades, right? 223% on QQQ. These are people trading the same exact way that I just showed you, right? 92% on this trade, $93 into $179. You don't have to have an insane amount of money to get started, right? So this is inside of the Discord. This isn't even the profits channel. So let's go to trading profits, right? So 100% here, 364% here, right? Yeesh, my chart looks a mess, right? He trades something different. $614 right here. Let's go ahead and close that out. Let's go back over here. Let's click out of there. Right? Had a great week, right? Growing a small account. You don't have to have an insane amount of money to be able to do this, right? 250% on SPX right here. End of day move. This is 1,100%, right? Trust the system TSA. So this is $48 into $582. So you can come in here and you can say, yo, bro, this doesn't work, or this is more complicated than it needs to be, or blah, blah, blah. It doesn't, like, you're not hurting my feelings, right? You're just really wasting your own time. But for those of you who are sitting here and realizing like, damn, I just sat through and learned all this stuff and it actually does work. Well, let me just keep showing you, right? How many of you would like to just put $50 into something and then a cash register opens and it gives you back $582, right? Well, look at this. 214% on this trade, 130% on NVIDIA, 70, shout out to Jeremiah, 102%, 120%. $17, $115, 23%, 10%, 109%, 200% here, 14% here, $59, 140%, $1,900. Shout out to Miguel. $1,900 on one trade, 215% here, 55% here. 40, like I could go on and on. Like This isn't something that's new to us, right? 157, like I could go on and on and on, like $1,400 on the day from trading right here. Same exact stuff, right? $150 here, 1,000%, $50 into $500. Like the stuff that I'm showing you is the same stuff that we are all trading in this Discord community. So, you know, if a person tells me like, oh, bro, this doesn't work, fine. You know, I agree. Whatever you say. But like, at the end of the day, you know, if you're more successful than me or the people that I've helped, then do what works for you, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm not here to crap on anybody else's strategy. I'm just showing you what works for me. And that's why you're here. So does this all make sense? Let's go through another ticker. Somebody send me Microsoft. Let's go through another example of just reading it and understanding it. Now I get it. Some of y'all are like, well, bro, you don't really know that's happening. You're just rewinding. I get it. The market's not open. How about you just come join us when I trade live? How about you just do that? And I can show you that I'm doing it in real time. Is that okay with y'all? Like, I get it. You don't trust me because there's a ton of other people who didn't scam you before. You didn't try Forex. You didn't got scammed by them. But the great thing about me is I am not here to sell you anything right now. It's the only difference. I'm not here to tell you to promote what I'm doing. I don't care what you do. At the end of the day, the market will still go on every single day. My goal in here is just to tell you that, hey, you can make money from the market using this strategy. It works. Here's the proof. Here's how you do it. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay, Baba. Somebody said Baba. I like trading Baba on earnings. Earnings day, their earnings was Friday, right? Is this Friday? Yeah, this is Friday. This is a trade. I could just go through trades that I sent out in the Discord, but that wouldn't be fair because y'all would be like, oh, bro, you didn't, even though the time and dates are on all of them. You got a YouTube channel? Yes. This whole entire thing is recorded for YouTube specifically. I'm basically creating like a playlist where y'all can just binge watch this stuff for free. And my hopes is that it's better than the paid stuff that you have paid for in the past. That is the goal. And I'm very confident that I can do that. So. Okay, cool. Let's take a look here. Okay, so let's talk about top-down analysis real quick. Okay, so how do I do top-down analysis? This chart looks insane. Okay, how would I do top-down analysis here? Okay, so this is Baba, right? We definitely eat in TSA, and more importantly, we learn. We have classes. We support each other. Tez is a great teacher. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to everybody in TSA. Yes, my YouTube is right there. Lala just typed it down below. How many people do we have in the TikTok right now in our live? All right, cool. Let's keep going, right? So Baba, how do I do my top-down analysis? Okay, so in the beginning of the week on a Monday, right? For example, you know, I'll look at the weekly time frame and I'll mark out the high and the low of the weekly. Okay, so you know this high is right here on the weekly time frame and this low. Now, when you guys are using the 50% indicator that I just told y'all about, it'll mark it out for you. So my charts used to be super messy. I don't have to do that. The real thing the main thing I have to do is like mark out order blocks and gaps. 560 live TikTok. Yo, that's crazy. Insane. Shout out to everybody in TikTok, man. If you haven't hit the follow button, go ahead and do so. And if you click the link in my bio, there's a free live workshop that you can join where I break this down with PowerPoints. So it clicks a little bit more. You can take notes and stuff. I think you'll enjoy it. But right now I'm not here to sell you anything. So at the end of the day, just keep watching, hit the follow button if you like it. And yeah, we're going to keep going. So right here, how I will do my higher time frame breakdown, right? So you got your high and low. So I'm just mark these off, right? For time's sake. Now, this is another thing on the Trading View app. There's this like little magnet that you guys can put. And this is how you magnetically connect your lines to the highs and lows of candlesticks or the bodies, right? So look at this. It'll snap on, like right here, it'll be to the cent. So if you guys have been struggling with like using the like making sure it's to the cent on your lines, just use the magnet on TradingView. Okay. So let's just say this is my previous high and low of the week. We're gonna go down to a daily time frame. So I know that this is support and resistance on the weekly time frame, these blue lines, right? Now look at this. This is the daily, right? So I'm on the daily time frame. So this candlestick right here, what is this showing me? Well, we were selling off, found support down here at another level of support. If you look left, this is a level that we've been bouncing from. Okay. They had their earnings and they gapped up. Okay. So they gapped up. You can mark out the high and the low of the previous day. Then what I'll do is I'll go down to the 6-hour time frame and I'll say, hey, you know, what do I see on the 6-hour? Well, price, it opened here. It came down and retested an order block. And then buyers stepped back in because, again, this is earnings, right? And it pushed through all of the key levels back to previous quarter highs. Okay, cool. Go down to a 4-hour time frame, and it's just telling different stories. So like I'll do this, you know, in the morning, right? We do pre-market calls where I basically break down the charts, and I'll basically go from daily, 6-hour, 4-hour, 2-hour, 1 hour, and I'll look for a 3 or a failed 2 off of those higher time frames. Okay, but this is how you do your your top-down analysis. Somebody give me another ticker to look at. I should have did this when the market was open. I think my next one, but I think a lot of people work jobs. How many of y'all work a job, or y'all like all full-time traders or entrepreneurs? Like I'm trying to figure out the best date or times to do these, because I feel like most people are working a 9 to 5. So I feel like you might not be able to come to it. Either way, it's going to be recorded for YouTube. So, oh, what's the PDH, PWH indicator? It's called 50%er. Okay, so let us look at AMD. So look at this, right? Watch this. How do you read this chart? We're gonna go through it together again. This is another example. Brother, none of this makes sense. You gotta watch it from the beginning, bro. No lie, if you just came in, it's gonna be a little bit harder, right? So how do you read this chart? How would you go about this? Okay. Well, number one, I would look left and I would say, okay, you know, you start seeing some selling pressure come in, right? Next, we created a bullish order block right here from this level. Okay. And I also have an order block above me. This is resistance. So watch this. When this next candle opens, there's no actionable signals just yet, but when the next candle opens, right, this wick comes to the halfway mark of this order block, almost to the T, right? So most of the time, the halfway mark of an order block is usually the strongest level, right? So when it comes up, it pushes up and retests this level and it fails. Once it fails and it breaks through this order block here, right? Now I'm saying, okay, this is a majority selling pressure here. And look what happens. You break through the next order block. This is an actionable signal. This is a 3-bar. So you're looking for a continuation. Now this move alone off the rejection or off a reversal, right? This is from 168.63 to 163. This is a $5 move, right? So then on the next move, I'm not expecting an insane move, but it does move a little bit more. So the way you would enter this is if it breaks below here, you take the entry and it continues in that direction. Now, does it continue the rest of the day? Probably not. Yeah, you probably chopped up because this is a huge move right here. This is like from 168 to a low of 162. This is an $8 move on a stock that normally moves about $5 a day. So let me turn on ATR. I know it feels like, oh my God, he just keeps adding on more and more and more. You just have, this is your first time coming to a live like this. So absolutely, it's going to be difficult. Remember when you first tried to dribble a ball between your legs and you're like, bruh, I just cannot get it. But I bet if you went to practice and you did the reps, you was able to get it down, right? It's like ladies, when you're doing your makeup, the first time you do your makeup looks terrible. I love you, but it's true. We're not gonna lie. When you first time you get on a bike, you're not just gonna get on there and just start riding it perfectly the first time. Like this is the problem though. People are looking for microwavable results. Y'all are looking to just make everything click right there. I'm not the person to help you do that. I'm sorry. You want everything to be spoon fed to you. You don't want to take time to just explore the fact that your mind needs time to learn things. I don't know what to tell you, right? Do you consider time frame continuity in every trade you enter, or you will take a quick trade scalp in spite of overall direction? This is a great question. So time frame continuity, this is another thing. before I get to that, right? Before I get to time frame continuity, let me explain an ATR. So I'm pretty sure y'all can see this based off right here, okay? So an ATR is an indicator. So what does this mean? Average true range. So ATR, I want y'all to type this down below. ATR equals average true range. Tez, what does that mean? This is basically how far the stock moves on average. So the day range, right? So let's look over here first. ATR says $6.59. This means on average, AMD runs about $6.59 in either direction. This is an average. So remember, an average means it can go higher, it can go lower, or it can be around that level. But this is on average. Why is this helpful for you though? Well, if I'm looking at trading AMD and you've already ran majority of your ATR, well, to expect an even bigger move afterwards, you're not being realistic, right? So this is basically saying this. If I were to call you and you like, yo, I'm about to run a mile, and you like, or I'm about to run 5 miles, and you say, bro, I'm not running 5 miles. The most I can do is a mile, right? And I'm like, no, you can do 5. You're like, no, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to do 5 miles. I can do 1 with you. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take the 1, right? So let's say you come with me, we go running, right? And we get up to a mile. And you're like, you know what? I got a little bit more juice in me. I can keep going, right? And you go maybe another 0.2 miles. And then you like, all right, I'm good. I gave you a little bit more, right? That is the ATR. On average, you know what you're able to do, a mile, right? But an ATR is, hey, I could do a little bit more, I could do a little bit less, or I can be right around that level, right? And that is what an ATR is. So when you are trading, if a stock moves majority of its ATR, majority of its range in the beginning of the day, that is how you can predict when you can have some choppiness, right? So the way you would look at this, right? If I seen this in the beginning of the day, look, you can rewind it, and this keeps the ATR updates as the stock is moving. So look at this. This move right here was 100% of its ATR. It already ran the full mile. So now it's exhausted. So if it does give you a little bit more, well, yeah, you can get a little bit more, but like what's going to happen next? 9 times out of 10, it's going to consolidate. And what ends up happening? A 1 bar is consolidation, followed by another 1 bar, which is more consolidation, followed by another 1 bar, which is consolidation. And then you have these candlesticks. So look, you're stuck in this range right here. Why would I want to trade in this? This is consolidation. Regardless of the strategy that you trade, you can't tell me, if you know how to read a chart, if you trade supply and demand, support, resistance, whatever you trade, you can't tell me this isn't consolidation. It's stuck in a range. So this is why ATR is important. And I get it. Like a lot of y'all are like, yo, bro, this isn't making sense. It's a lot of stuff. It's your first time here. I don't expect you to just get it right out the gate. You learn the basics. You should be happy that you know the strat, you know what these colors are, you know what the numbers are, and you know smart money concepts. And even if you trade supply and demand, support, resistance, whatever, you can still use these things. You know what key levels are. You learned a lot in one day. So to be mad at yourself for not understanding everything, or to say, oh, this just doesn't work because there's so much stuff, that's like, you know, a lawyer going to law school for 8 years, and then in the first 3 days, he's like, yeah, this is too much stuff. This just doesn't work. It's the law. Of course, it's going to take time. How do you pick your plays? Do you have a scanner to make it easier? Yes. So all members of TSA, I have a Strat scanner. So if you want to say like you want to find 3 bars on a daily time frame, so this is something that we do in TSA. So if like I have a member who comes in and they work a job, or they have a really busy life, or they have like 17 kids or something like that. No, I'm just kidding. But if they have a lot of kids, right, they can basically use our scanner to scan the market, and then they can basically find, let's say, a 3 bar on a daily time frame, right? And basically what they can do is they can say, hey, this is an actionable signal I want to trade. They can look at the levels, they can mark it out and say, okay, cool, I can set an alert, so when this triggers, I'll take the trade. So what happens now is I don't have as many students coming in who are like asking me for plays. Like I'm giving you an AI scanner that scans the market for you to give you the setups that you want to take. So that way you don't have to worry about sitting on the charts for hours upon hours when your kids need you to cook. You know, you got to go to work, you got a 9 to 5. And if you want to swing trade, let's say you don't like day trading, well, the scanner helps you with swing trades. So, you know, I've built a lot of these things because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't have as much time as I have. But the goal is to learn how to do this with a little time. So when you get really, really good with it, you'll learn how to do this really great when you get your time back from doing it. So when you make enough money from trading to where you can go full time, well, guess what? When you have all your time on your hands, you're probably going to be a lot better than you were when you first got started. But for right now, you got to make sacrifices, because at the end of the day, a lot of y'all are looking at this like, man, like, I don't want to do all this work. I don't want to do all these things, right? But then you can't be mad at the person who is a multimillionaire when you don't want to go through the same BS that they went through to get there. And this is what I mean by microwavable results. Y'all want everything for free. You want everything to be easy. Remember what your parents once told you, and if they never told you, I'm about to be your parent right now. Nothing in life comes easy, and anything worth having never comes easy. As long as you remember that and you're willing to put the work in, this can work for you. I'm not saying it's going to work overnight though. Right? So we read this. Okay, so we know consolidation, right? Let's look at another ticker. We can look at ES, the trade that I took, all right? We can look at the trade that I took. This did 133% on Friday. So let me show y'all this end of the day move that I took. What day is this? Friday? Yes. Oh no, I'm on the wrong ticker. Okay, let's go over to ES. So let's go to SPX right now. And let's look at this move that I took on Friday. Okay. So this is the trade that I took on Friday. I didn't live trade this one. No, I don't have a recording of this either. So let's go through this together, right? So this is a 3-minute time frame. So at the end of the day, SPX likes to make, or the market likes to make, these really huge moves before the market closes, especially on a Friday, right? So what happens now is when I come over to the 3-minute time frame, right? If we look at price, we were consolidating for a little minute, right? So like this is, every candle is 3 minutes. So we were consolidating from about 1:42 p.m. till about 3:40. Okay, it's about 3:40. So we had a lot of consolidation. So price tried to break out. It breaks out and it retests the VWAP. Now this is another support and resistance level. So everything that I'm doing, everything you do in trading is all support and resistance. It's just different terminology. Okay. It comes up, it retests the VWAP right here, and it has a hard reversal. And then guess what? I got my infamous failed to down. So what this told me is this is an actionable signal. So on SPX around like 3:54 to about 4 o'clock, because the market closed at 4, from 3:54 to about 3:59, there can be insane moves that happen at that time frame. So this is the move that I caught that paid 133%. This move from here back up here, this was 133%, or I think I cut somewhere around here. But this whole move right here, this paid way more. I caught 133%. But this is how I did it, right? It gave me a failed 2 down here. And as it gave me a failed 2 down after a sell-off, it says, hey, buyers step back in. When they step back in, they break above here. This is my calls entry. We also break back through previous month highs, right? Which is a key level. So this gave me confidence taking this trade. I took the trade. It runs up. I have my targets. Hits my target. I'm out the trade. Does it give more? It does. But hey, you win some, you lose some. But at the end of the day, I was green. I caught 133%. I'm not going to be mad at profits. So this is how I caught this trade here. And again, it's all the same concepts that you just learned. Do y'all feel like y'all learned something today? Like, be honest. Like, do you feel like you learned a little bit of something today, even if it wasn't astronomical and life-changing? Do you feel like you learned something today? Do you feel like maybe looking at the strat might be something you want to look into, or understanding, you know, smart money concepts or key levels, right? Or the indicators that I use, or like, you know, whatever it is. Do you feel like you learned a little bit of something? Great breakdown. You're a great teacher. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Well, again, I have absolutely nothing to sell you. If you click the link in my bio, for those of you guys who are in here and you want more information like this delivered in this way, but maybe with a PowerPoint instead, so that way you can take notes, you can ask questions in like a private class setting. I have a free live workshop coming up on the 21st of this month. This is my first trading workshop. It'll be about an hour or two long. I'll break down a lot of these concepts in like my risk management, things like that. But if you click the link in my bio, it's the very first one there. You can register for free. There is no card option. Like, you don't have to put your card number in or anything like that. You will have to put your email and phone number in because I got to send you a text and email to remind you about it, right? So you don't miss it, okay? It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, September 21st. Like I said, it's free. It'll just go over all the same stuff I just went over with you, and I have some surprises and bonuses that I'll be giving out to people who show up and stay until the end. So if this is something you liked, if you feel like you learned something, I am 100% certain you're gonna love what I do in that class. So just click the link in my bio and go ahead and register. If you're on YouTube, let me see if I can maybe post it in my, actually it should be in the description. For my people on YouTube, is there a description bar? Is there a description bar for you guys on YouTube? If so, I want you to scroll down there. You should see the link right there. You can click it and you can just put your email and phone number in, and then you'll be registered. Do you do this daily on TikTok? Nah. But for the next 21 days leading up to this workshop, I will be doing these about 3 to 4 times a week. So that way you guys can just keep getting more information. I'll do some live trades with you guys, so you guys can see what it looks like for me to make money live, just as proof. Or you can see me lose money as well, either or. But yeah, you got a Discord? Yes. I do have a Discord. I have a free Discord as well. It comes with like a 6-hour course. I know somebody in here said, hey bro, I couldn't get through the 6-hour course. I get it. It's a lot of information, but just gotta prioritize it. Tomorrow, I'll probably try to get back on around the same time. I have a class tomorrow with TSA though. On YouTube, it's not working. Let me see real quick. Yeah, a lot to take in, but I will watch it again. All good. Yeah, this whole thing is on YouTube, by the way. So if you guys are on here, all you have to do is, if you're on the YouTube right now, all you gotta do is watch it when I get off here. Okay, so on YouTube, I'm gonna post this link in the chat for you guys, for those of you guys who are on YouTube. trainingwithtez.com/workshop. Okay. That should work for you guys. For those of you guys who are here on YouTube, this should work for you right here. So that link right there is the link that you guys can use to join. You can either copy and paste that, or just type it in. I do options. So real quick, if you haven't already, hopefully I earned a follow and a subscribe. If you like this at all, like I said, I'm going to be doing this 3 more times this week, 2 or 3 more times. But yeah, this was a masterclass with your boy Tez. Hopefully I earned a follow. If I didn't, don't follow me. If this was a waste of your time, don't follow. But if I did earn a follow, I look forward to giving you more information that will continuously move the needle forward for you and the family and your people that you care about. How many years have you been trading? I've been in the stock market since 2020. I made a lot of my money from investing long-term in stocks during the pandemic. I got into trading around 2021, end of 2021, beginning of 2022. So I've been in it about 4 years, 3 years, 4 years. I was learning about support and resistance in like 2021, trend lines, all that stuff. It was really confusing, I'm not gonna lie. Which is why I understand exactly where you're coming from when you say, hey, a lot of this stuff is a little bit more confusing. I don't understand. You haven't had enough time to really sit with me for me to teach you. So this is why I hope that you following will get you to come back so you can get more information so this can make more sense. Because by next week, if you come to the next 3 classes that are going to be on this stream, right, by next week, you should be so far ahead from where you are now that you'll be like, man, I remember when none of this made sense. Now I'm sitting here taking trades off of it. You know what I mean? I don't trade with any type of funded accounts. Everything I do is cash liquid accounts. It takes hours and years to actually master this wealth machine. Everyone hit the subscribe button. Yes. What time? Tomorrow I'm going to jump back on around 7 p.m. Eastern. Or I might do it earlier in the day. I might live trade tomorrow. But if you follow and you hit subscribe and you turn on post notifications, you'll get the invite. What ATR indicator? It's called SATY ATR levels. SATY ATR levels. Let me type it down below in the chat. SATY ATR levels. There you go, right there. Do you trade Solana? I don't trade crypto. I invest in crypto. Well, I don't invest in all crypto. I invest in Bitcoin. I'm a maxi. Is this getting posted? Yes. Do you have information for new people? Yes. You can click the link. That link that I posted in the chat, that'll take you to a workshop you can join. Or you could just click the link in my bio and it'll take you over to a free Discord that I have. I have a paid one as well, but if you want just information, the free one would be a good fit for you. One question, am I able to connect Tradeovate with the Edge Funder? I have no clue. You're doing a great job explaining and teaching. Thank you. I have a lot more to teach, obviously. You know, so hopefully you pull up next time and you can see what more I have to teach. Right now, I'm just going through the foundation, the beginning, you know, basic levels. Next class tomorrow, we'll go further in depth. We'll make more stuff connect. Okay? I don't use funded accounts, guys. I don't see the link on TikTok. Real quick, so LaFleur, you click the link in my bio. So you click off the live, you go to my bio, and that very first link, right, it'll look like this. Let me just show y'all on live. Actually, now that I think about it. So this is you on my TikTok, right? You're on my TikTok. You click the link in the bio, the link tree. When you click the link tree, this will pop up. And then you click the very first link right there. Once you click it, it'll pull up this page right here. And then you just scroll down and just save your spot. You click that link right there. And this goes for everyone on YouTube too. It's called Sadie ATR levels. That's the indicator. Man, it looked like I learned a lot. Started today from the free course alone. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's the goal. The free course should be able to get you a mile ahead. The paid version is where you want to just trade with us live, get support, things like that. Do you think it's important to begin with paper trading? I think it can work. I think you still won't be able to trade with emotions when you're paper trading. So I think to get the basics down of clicking buy, clicking sell, everything like that, you can start off with paper trading, and then when you get a good understanding and you get your emotions down, then you can start rocking out with, you know what I'm saying, that. Okay, so cool. For those of you guys who are in TikTok, if you want to watch this whole stream back over again where I teach everything, right? You could put it on 1.5x. That's how I like to learn, to speed through all the BS, because I was talking a lot. So you just speed through this video. Try to get to the end of it. You can go click the link in my bio as well. There's a subscribe to my YouTube channel button. You can click it, and then you'll be able to see this entire live posted on there for you to watch, okay? Telling more people about this. Thank you, CK. I appreciate that, man. Yes. Are you doing a Labor Day sale? No. Sorry. Well, that is pretty much it. If you haven't already, click the follow button. This live has 39,000 likes and 785 followers. Pretty crazy. I greatly appreciate every person who left a like, who left a follow, who shared this at all, who gifted. Shout out to all my gifters. Greatly appreciate all of y'all. If you haven't already, like I said, just hit the follow button. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m., I think. But again, quick reminder, the Sunday workshop is the 21st, not this Sunday. It's going to be Sunday the 21st. And again, to get there, I'm going to show y'all one more time. If you're on Instagram or YouTube, or not Instagram, but if you're on TikTok or YouTube, what you want to do is just go to my link tree or go to my bio. When you click the link in my bio, okay, this will pop up for you. The first link will take you over to the live workshop. It is free. So when you click it, this page will pop up. You scroll down, you click save my spot. Let me turn the brightness down a little bit. All right. You click save my spot. When you click save my spot, you'll be registered and you'll get an email, text message, all that stuff. I'll be giving away some prizes and stuff like that on the workshop too. So just make sure you pull up. Average true range. Yes. Are you going to do the 1 month free Discord group giveaway? You know what? Since we got 39,000 likes, I'll do one. I'll do it based off of one of the subscribers. So if you want a free month in my Discord community, all you have to do is leave a follow or a subscribe, and I'll choose 2 people. I'll choose one person off of TikTok. I'll just DM you. And then YouTube, I'll choose one person. I'll just pick a person from YouTube right now. So if you're on YouTube, comment, damn, what do you comment? What's a good thing to comment? Comment lit down below or something like that. Comment lit down below on both platforms. I'm gonna choose 2 winners right now. I'm gonna choose 2 winners right now. So your Discord is free. I have a free version and I have a paid version. I'm gonna choose 2 people for a free month of TSA. Okay. Comment lit. All right, so I'm gonna choose somebody who's been hella active in TikTok. Damn, they're coming in way too fast. Oh my God, bro, this shit's going too crazy. Hold on. Okay, I got my person for here. Okay, so again, TikTok, you have to be following me to win. So for YouTube, the winner for the free month of TSA is going to be Nikki Lou. Shout out to Nikki Lou. Greatly appreciate you pulling up to the live. I'm gonna send you over a I have your name typed in the notes, so I'll just shoot you over a DM, or not a DM, but a message on YouTube, I guess, of the link. All right. So shout out to Nikki Lou for the free month of TSA. And then next is TikTok. So if you're not following me on TikTok, you will not be included. I can tell who follows me from this little CRM or this little center thing that I have. It shows me who's following. So if you're not following me, you will not be chosen as a winner. I'm going to put that out there again. Okay. Thank you, no problem. I need to choose one that has it. Okay. And then I got okay. So Nikki Lou, you're the winner from YouTube. And then the winner from TikTok is going to be Aaron McCulley. Shout out to Aaron McCulley for pulling up to the live. Greatly appreciate you, brother. Yeah, those are my 2 winners. Congratulations to Aaron McCulley. Aaron, if you can shoot me over a DM, or I can just shoot you over a message, whichever one. But it would probably be easier if you just shoot me over a message on TikTok. Thank you, no problem, bro. Just shoot me over a message so I can send you over the link. And you'll be ready to go. You'll get access to all of our curriculum, our live trading classes, all that stuff for free for 30 days. So I hope you enjoy. For the rest of you, just hit the follow button, come tomorrow, and I might choose. I don't know if I like doing like the whole free stuff, but like, because if I give it to you for free, they probably won't really, not them, but other people might not take advantage of it. So hopefully y'all take advantage. Shout out to my winners. I can't wait to learn more. I can't wait for you to learn more as well. All right. So like I said, y'all know how to subscribe for the register for the live class, right? Comment me down below if you already subscribed or you're about to go subscribe. Comment me. Or not subscribe. What am I talking about? Register. Again, it is Sunday the 21st. Don't DM me asking me if it's this Sunday. It is Sunday the 21st. I promise. I will email you and text you all the updates and everything you could possibly need to make sure you're there on time. Okay. Now, there is a catch. Since I'm using Zoom, there's only 1,000 seats open, period. Like, I can't have more than 1,000 people in the room. So with that being said, last time I did a webinar or a workshop or anything like this, I had like 6,000 registrants. So if you can't get in the room the day of, I'll have to probably push you out to another one. But you just want to make sure you register right now. And yeah, make sure you show up when I send you the text message and email. Don't play around. So that is it for today's class. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Go share this live with a couple friends. If you guys liked it, you can go back and watch this whole thing on YouTube. Just put it on 1.5x or 2x. Skip past all the chatterbox stuff that I did. But hopefully I gave you guys some value. Hopefully you enjoyed this stream. I greatly appreciate you for pulling up. And yeah, let me know things that I could do better next time.